All right, I'd like to start now our regular village board meeting for August 10th at 6:05. So again, I would like, thank you for coming. I'd like to have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Public comment? Hi, Paul. Come on up.
Come on up.
Yep, come on up.
So, can someone tell me why the trees were taken down way back at the water treatment plant?
So,
You took all the trees down, so we're going to talk about Highly Road tonight, but a different issue.
oh, at the water
Right?
treatment plant?
I mean, there were
Yeah,
all these trees screening it,
yeah.
they were taken down.
You mean close to the lagoon in particular? Because they were a lot
Where
of,
everything is planted now.
a lot of those trees were actually in the water that didn't look like it until you got in. You had to bushwhack and get in there, and they were gonna die anyway. And then when they plop into the lagoon, we were looking at an expense, we actually had to remove a tree that way, and we had to pay someone to kind of go in there and cut it up in a boat and then drag
There were
it
a lot
out.
of trees there.
Yeah, no,
I heard it was a mistake.
most of the,
Is
no,
that not?
most of the big, no.
And I heard it
Most
was
of
a
the
letter
big-
from the health department or something. Anything about that?
I think you're talking about
That's the Highly
you're
Road.
talking about Highly, not the water treatment plant.
Are you
Yeah,
talking?
Highly Road.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
okay, I thought you were talking
I'm
about.
sorry.
Yeah, we were written up because we had too many trees around the old lagoon, which the fence, and then we had Dave's Tree Service come in and they, between them and the chief operator, they were, a little too assertive in removing trees.
So they weren't supposed to take them all down.
It isn't that, they didn't,
Look, my issue here.
they didn't
is
bring us
that-
into the discussion,
Okay.
but
I
there,
know-
but then I did hear from our landscape architect that that tank is supposed to be a reservoir anyway, and you're really not supposed to have trees even around the large trees around the water tank. So she thought we would probably have had to remove them anyway. So, but we spent an awful lot on the landscaping, and it will look nice when it comes in. So,
We spent an awful lot on the landscape.
yeah, because
You know,
it's public bid.
I'm all
so.
about, how many times you drive up that road? That money that 70 grand, in my opinion, could have been much better spent somewhere else. You could have put trees back up, even if you made a mistake and had them all cut down. You could have put trees back up, I don't know, 20 grand maybe, that's all. I have another question, can I?
Go ahead.
So I know we have a relationship now with the county on the short-term rentals. I was at the meeting, or watched the meeting when you talked about that, Gary. So my question is, at what point will the village start to cite the ones that are illegal?
I'm sorry, what was the
Because
question?
At what point in time will the village start to cite the short-term rentals that are illegal? There are several, maybe more than several, that are currently operating illegally. And and it's fine to have the consultant, the company, I can't remember the name.
Yeah,
Granicus.
Granicus.
That's fine, and it's not going to cost us anything. I know Dutchess County is going to reimburse us. But I'm just asking, at what point? How's that going to work? Just give me a little bit of information. Eventually, they're going to give you a report, right, that says,
They're going to give us real-time reports. As soon as we do, there's a step in the process which we need to go through, which is to get Granicus on board, give them all of our permitted applications that we have and our regulations, and get them up to speed. They will then start doing daily monitoring of all the websites and of existing, who's ever advertising, who's ever listening, and they will immediately send us real-time data that we could then go out
So
with.
do we know
So
how long it'll
that's
take
my-
to get up to speed with them?
We haven't had the kickoff meeting yet, so I don't know the answer until after we have the kickoff meeting. I was waiting till Lydia got back to have the kickoff meeting, right? And get Lydia and Ryan and myself together to be able to do that, so.
ASAP?
Well, the law was passed, 3 years ago, and enforcement is always an issue. So
Right.
I'll wait and see. I mean,
It's coming.
Yeah.
Before I came here, I went online, you can find 2 or 3 just like that are, and I'm concerned about the non-hosted ones. Rick, you talked about, medallions up on, up on the houses and so on and so forth. So I'm just coming back on it. One last question, what's the status of the police reform committee or commission? Please.
We do not have a chair for that police reform committee yet. Still in process and looking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did we put that medallion thing in the code? I can't remember.
The what?
The idea of having the tag or a medallion on the rentals.
I think he did. I'm
we
not
did.
positive, but
I think it's
it's
there.
been so long.
It is in the
I don't
code.
remember.
Yeah, it is there. I'm pretty sure it is. I can check right now.
And if there is a hosted rental, then they can, and they're just doing a bootleg, they can actually come in because they will be permitted, but
Yeah, I'm concerned about the
the non-hosted,
non-hosted.
Yeah.
Okay. No more public comment. I'm going to move on. We briefly touched on this on the marijuana public survey. Vanessa, I would like you to introduce what we're going to do, if you don't mind.
Yes. It's already live. There's a survey. We tried to keep it really simple. It's just a few questions. And Martina, I'll follow up with you on putting something on the homepage of the website so it's easy to find. But currently it lives under the initiatives navigation. So if you go navigate to the marijuana page on the website, it shares all the info that we've been sharing at these meetings, but on the website, and it links to this survey. The survey, we would like to close it 5 p.m. August 31st, so that we can then go through the results and share that publicly at the next meeting in September. And this is all boom, 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 because we're trying to meet this really tight turnaround. So I would ask folks who are watching this meeting to please spread the word. We would like as many people as possible to take that survey. Again, this is not a binding vote by any means, but it's just another way to get a sense of the wishes of the community.
Well, Vanessa, if they're outside of village residents, if they're not village residents, they're still still going to take the survey, and so we don't know.
Right. That's
So-
one of the reasons it's not a binding vote,
Right.
because we're not authenticating their address in the village. So again, this is just another information point for us to gather as we're trying to get a sense. So it's another point of consideration, but it's not like a referendum vote.
Right. Okay. Thank you. And we're going to publish that. It's live
It's
now,
live now, yeah.
and we'll send it out tomorrow,
Yeah.
right? Cool. Thank you. All right, at the last meeting, Bram, we talked about the update on the generator and the gas tank at Hiley Road. Do you have anything to present?
Yeah, so I promised that I would get you guys a comparison with expenses. If we bury the tank versus screening. So I did, and I called Bottini, and we would have to buy the tank. Because of steel prices, the tank would be about $4,500, $5,000, but that's, as of the day I spoke to him. They would give us an excavation plan, and then we would dig. We'd have to tamp it down. It's got to be 5 feet deep. So Brian and I were figuring about $1,500 to do that. So that would put us at $6,000. And then that would, that's about it. If we buried then you have this we have one right across the street in the town. There's a little metal cap. And I don't think it would be wise to just have that little metal cap, because these guys are gonna have to dig it. They have to keep it free and clear of ice all the time, which is cumbersome. So I think we should do a little kind of chimney thing around it with like a lid. So you figure about $150, $125 for that. So $6,125. Now the screening option we spoke about, just taking an L piece. We get the shadow box, 6-foot fencing, 6 by 8, and we would do an L piece around the tank. like a 12-foot length and then maybe 6 this way. And then we would just put a screen wall of a 6x8 in front of the generator, because the generator is kind of tucked away, and by the time you drive past it, the hill would kind of, prevent a view from that. So that's $408. But then again, it would be an L piece, so we'd have some vegetative screening on the fence for the south elevation, which you could get, boxwood or, so I just figured $100 for that. So it's 600 versus 6125. Oh, that's the other thing. If we still would want to screen the generator, even if we bury the tank. So you add like $125 to that. So say, $62.50, bury the tank, $500 to go with the screening. So my thinking is that we screen, because we did spend a lot of money on the landscaping. And it'll look nice. The shelter is not pretty. I mean, the stuff that exists, right, already. So I don't want to wax the dump truck, so to speak.
How tall would the screen be?
6 feet. It's like just regular fencing, like
Okay.
yard fencing.
So the only thing is, we voted on burying the tank.
No, we did not.
Yeah, as you look at the
No,
minutes,
You-
the previous minutes, we voted on burying it.
That's not correct. I was supposed to fetch a price on the option.
The last meeting, but I'm going back to our May 12th of 2020 meeting, where we said we would bury the tank.
Right, but that was when that's the confusion with the neighbor and the correspondence with John Fent. We were going to put it behind the shelter. There's all sorts of, the major plumbing is back there. And then we moved it out front. I don't recall a resolution that we decided to bury the
Yeah,
tank.
on May 12th,
How did you find that?
Martina found it. Trustee Nuer makes a motion to accept the bid, seconded by Trustee Lewitt. Mayor, after the project has been reviewed by residents of Highland Hill, Trustee Nuer responded saying residents do want the project, and also says that the tank will be buried and therefore not visible. All voted A. So we'd have to change that vote if we want to change it.
Okay, I never had a bid on burying the tank. I just did not have that in my possession. Because after Fenton was gone, I did recall I had to get the piece from Botini, and it was not a burial, so I guess that was just a mistake.
So it's up to the board. I mean, now you're coming back to the proposal, and we could move forward on a different proposal. So you want to make a motion to screen?
Yes. And I made a personal pledge to remove the weeds in that new landscaping area, and I'm not even going. I've been told by a police officer not even to go over there anymore. So the weeds are getting out of control. It's,
Well, I mean,
the
just
whole
out of-
situation is very frustrating.
Wait, we have a motion, then we're going to touch
Oh,
it.
okay.
Do I have a second to Brant's motion?
Second.
Second. Okay, now we can go into discussion.
I mean, if landscaping is going to be part of like how we manage this whole process, then I think we should have some kind of maintenance contract. And I mean, I have no idea what we agreed on last May because I wasn't here. But if we're going to not bury, if we're not going to bury it and we're going to choose instead to have landscaping be some part of how we manage this process, I think we need to have a maintenance contract in place for maintaining the landscaping because.
So we already mow, and, we can do a better job of that.
No, but like mowing is one thing, but I mean, maintaining bushes and weeding and all the rest of it, that's like not a, we don't pay the water and sewer guys to weed.
Well, could we consider it part of the highway department? I mean, if they're doing that kind of work at the parks?
Well, when we planted all that landscaping, it was agreed to that the water department would maintain it.
I mean, I'm just gonna be super blunt, and I think that's like a lot to ask of the guys who, you know,
It
are
is,
not, yeah,
and-
who are not gardeners or horticulturists
It
or.
wasn't really going to be an issue either. After the first year, you just keep throwing 3 inches of mulch on it, and you don't even need to really do it. It would just be part of the, because they already spend a lot of time up in there mowing the compound. So
Okay.
it's the first year that's the trick, and I was going to get us through the first year.
And that didn't work out so well?
It worked out great. I'm not going there anymore.
Well, but like the first year is complete now.
But it's very.
We have a
it's-
hostile
but
next
it's
door
over-
neighbor. and
But
I've
it's
been-
overgrown.
Yeah, and one of the police officers
It's
told me
over-
not to
Okay,
go
so
there.
like, if we can't go there because of whatever's going on, then maybe we should, so I mean, like, right now, it sounds like we're dealing with like $6,100 to bury the tank and kind of have the problem go away without landscaping versus $600 and then maintenance to have this problem be masked. And that's fine. I mean, like, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, other than the fact that we agreed that we would bury it, I don't really care which one we do. But if we're gonna have landscaping be a part of it, I think we need to have someone other than the water, sewer, highway guys be in charge of this, because clearly we haven't done a good job of managing it to this point, and
Well-
now we've got neighbors who are furious with us.
Well, one, I agree with you. I agree with you for this summer. I don't
Right.
think it's moving forward.
I'll throw something else into the mix, which is one of the things that I wanted to discuss this winter was a landscaping contract for the parks, precisely for that reason, that we have somebody come in once a month who understands how to prune the bushes, knows which one the weeds are, understands the planting cycles. I mean, our guys can do the mowing, the weed whacking, they do a lot of the sort of the big blunt work. But in terms of ongoing maintenance for our parks and really making them look good, it might be a good idea to look at having a landscaper come in once a month, going through all the parks and do the weeding. We could add, you know, if we have somebody, we could add that to the contract.
Yeah.
Or we're looking to do
I
that.
mean,
Now,
either
wasn't-
that, or,
I'm-
either that or we like hire a trained gardener to, you know, someone whose job it is to garden, not to, you know, run a water sewer plant or,
Yeah, I agree that irregardless of whether the tank is buried or not, there is plenty of
there's plenty of gardening
weeding to be
opportunities around here.
done and
Yeah.
done in an environmentally friendly way, which is more time consuming.
Yeah, I
I
can,
do want to say, though, that the highway department has stepped up dramatically
Yeah.
on maintaining our parks and really doing a great job of pruning them and pushing them back. And the pruning committee is active and working under the tree commission and doing a lot of things in both of our parks as well. So, but we have this ongoing need of maintenance. So my question is,
We might
The
be able to
lands-
get a local,
let me ask a question. The landscaper that we hired to do that, they offered a maintenance contract, right? Could
Yeah,
we
I'm not-
bring them in to clean it up, and then we can take it
I'd rather
over?
use someone else just because they, you know, I wasn't happy with what they did. I mean,
Oh.
5 or 6 of those things, arborvitaes died, and, because they didn't water it, we put the plumbing out there for them, and, I mean, that is possibly why,
Were
they
they,
died.
were they supposed to come back and water?
just when they put them in.
No, but were they supposed to maintain it and water
No.
it during summer?
But you wouldn't have needed that, because it was in, like, around October when they planted them. They just needed, I was told that they should have watered right when they planted.
They should have.
Yeah,
They also should water the whole first year.
Yeah.
And arborvitae need a lot of water,
well,
so maybe it wasn't the best choice of a plant.
but
I'm just
possibly,
saying.
okay. I got a different, I don't want to, I just got different advice from the landscape architect.
And they're also very susceptible to deer.
Well, this is fenced in.
I mean, I don't know.
Hopefully.
I'm just saying,
The-
arborvitae do need water.
So everything
Last
looks,
year was incredibly dry.
everything, we actually have an irrigation thing. We can turn it on tomorrow if that's what you think we should do. But I was just given different instructions from our landscape architect. She did give me some maintenance ideas.
So actually on to two
But-
subjects here.
Yeah, we are.
The first subject is the tank and what we should do with the tank. We have a motion to do screening versus,
I mean, I think if we agree to
Version.
bury it, then we should bury it. unless we vote to unbury it, and then, you know, but like, if the Highly Road residents expected us to bury it, and they've been living with this expectation for a year, then I think we need to follow through on that agreement.
I,
I mean, I know you disagree.
Yeah.
But,
because I think the screening will look better anyway. I mean, it just,
I'm going to vote too. My opinion is I think we should bury it. I think it just looks better buried in that setting.
well, the chimney's not going to be pretty either, because we have to get this thing.
My neighbor has
put
a
out.
chimney. It sticks up, this
Yeah,
high. It's
well,
in the middle of his yard. It's not that
We could put a
obtrusive.
big green cap on
Yeah.
it so we can find it.
It's painted green and
Yeah.
It's a dome.
it's not that visible. So, all right, so,
I think that we should find someone to pull some weeds over the next couple of months.
let's talk about the tank first.
This is a tandem issue. Because of the money that we'd save by screening, we can afford to do that. So that's where I'm at.
I'd like to make a motion, I'd like to amend the motion that we bury the tank and screen
Well,
the
my
generator.
motion, I think my motion's out there. I mean.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. All right, so
So-
let's vote on, is any other discussion on that motion?
So the motion is to
Screen.
screen instead
Screen
of,
the tank.
and screen instead of bury,
yes.
correct? And there's nothing about any additional screening that would need to be done in the motion?
No, we still need to screen the generator.
Still need to screen the generator, okay.
It's the screening for the generator and the screening for the tank.
Okay, but the
That's the
generator's
motion,
getting
right?
screened one way or another?
What?
The generator's getting
Yeah,
screening one
that's
way
only
or
a couple
another.
$100.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're doing that in.
Okay,
in-house.
so we have a motion, we have a second. I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor of screening the tank and the generator, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say aye.
Nay,
Aye.
yeah, nay, yeah, nay.
Nay, nay, opposed, yeah. So,
All right,
And I don't know what's under there, so I'll let you know.
yeah.
It's probably going to be picking through rocks and stuff, so we'll see how the excavating goes.
all
Done.
right, so I'd like to make a second motion that we live up to our agreement and we bury the tank and screen the
Well,
generator.
Gary, okay,
I'll second that.
there's some confusion.
Now we have discussion.
That-
Further discussion.
Okay. That wasn't our agreement. I mean, that's not what happened. I don't know I never once thought we were going to bury the tank. So if I brought something forward and I was the steward of the process at that point,
Well, I mean,
then
like,
there's some misunderstanding.
Yeah, I hear your frustration with that.
I
Brett.
remember this distinctly, that's all.
Well, I hear your frustration with it, but it seems like that everyone understands that we were gonna bury it, and so, you know, whether or not that was your understanding.
Botini would
that's-
never even imagine. I mean, that wasn't even on the table when I,
Well, it seems like that's what we agreed to.
there's plumbing and electric all over the place underneath there, so.
Well, I mean, if it turns out that like we go digging and it's impossible to bury, then we'll revisit this.
Yeah.
But I think without giving it the old college try, we're failing in our agreement to the neighbors.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All right, so all in favor of screening the tank, burying the tank and screening the generator? Say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carried. So,
I did.
you have bids to do that.
So on the tandem issue, I'm reluctant to go out and hire a weeder. This is just getting out of control, how much money we're
Well, we
spending.
have to clean up that space, so.
But we've never been perfect with this, and now we're just like, we're making it better than it ever was before because it's just turned into a runaway train.
Well, I mean, what we might be able to do, honestly, is ask a few of the local gardening companies, people, folks, you know, if they'd give us a deal on it in exchange for having their sign stuck out in front of it, maintained by Schmidt Lab.
So, have the rest of the board been up there?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it's not looking good. Yeah.
It always has been, though.
You spent $78,000, so it wouldn't be ugly.
Well,
You just keep screwing this up. I'm sorry, but it's my tax money, and the reason I stood up there
It's your
before
money.
is because I think you wasted it, all right? Can't do anything about it at this point. My opinion would be that this is a role for the highway department. If you have to pay them overtime, have somebody train them and have them be part of the job. This is not rocket science.
Paul, the water department has always maintained that,
Well,
always.
Okay, but.
Always.
That'll remind us, then have them both do it. This is just,
The water department has always maintained it up there.
then let them do it again.
We even bought them mowers
I
to
mean,
do
I'm
it.
just,
You-
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
$80,000.
okay, well then,
Don't hire some landscaper to take care of the parks either. Jesus, I'm sorry. This is
So
crazy.
now we're on to the second discussion, introduced by Lydia on maintaining that.
Sorry if I got a little.
Okay, Paul.
okay, so the question now is that like, now that we've got plants and weeds, what are we gonna do with it?
I can
And-
tell you, I told the guys, I said, you got to get the weeds. So that's where I left it. If we want to escalate that and do it internally, then I suggested the mayor call Brian and ask him to,
Well, I mean, has highway ever helped with water sewer
That's
properties before?
No, they all do their own properties.
properties.
Right.
Wastewater does theirs, water does theirs, highway does everything else around here.
And I got to push back. I mean, they got enough going on
Yeah,
as it
they've got
is.
plenty, yeah.
we have to pay them.
So can we go back to what we were doing and have the water department come in?
Focus more on it, yeah, we
Yes.
can do that, yeah.
And let's try that, because it did
Yeah.
work.
Well, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It did work. Excuse me, if you want to speak, come on.
When they mow, they still don't
Officer.
weed whack around the fence. I mean, they mow up and through the hill, but the weeds along.
We've been doing that intentionally, I mean, because we're screening like the telco pedestal and, you know, the transformer and stuff.
So you let all the weeds grow up around the fence and
We can do it any way we want, I mean, we can ask them to get more, you know,
that's what
more.
it looks like. crap.
There is a line where we just let it go to brush, because we
I'm
always,
talking about the fence line. In front of the fence, right behind the fence. It's this high with weeds.
All right, so we're back to the water, we're back to the water
Maybe we can have the
department.
tree commission go and take a look.
Let's try to move on. I want to move on here, right?
I
So
mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, it's just that we're super busy right now.
I want to move on here. We're back to the water department, asking the water department to see if they can step up and
Get it done.
clean up the area. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, moving on, thank
Right.
you. NRI, Vanessa, this is you.
Yeah.
It's a presentation.
Okay, just a heads up to the board that I will be presenting the September, was it
28th.
28th? Short presentation to introduce this NRI, the Natural Resources Inventory Project. And so at that point, it's very exciting, we hope to have some of our first maps coming in for this project. And I hope to share those with the board. And just briefly talk about the whole point of this project. Just so you know, Nate Nerdy Cyrus, who is the Hudson River Estuary Program point person who's working with us on this, he's going to be giving the same presentation to the Village Planning Board and inviting the ZBA. And he's already talking to them about that, so that everyone can be getting the same presentation and all be on the same page.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, in the interest of being good to the people who volunteer for the village, can I ask that we accelerate one
Oh,
agenda
I
item?
forgot about that.
Which is the discussion and the potential appointment of several new members of the Tree Commission.
Yes.
We have the chair of the Tree Commission here, and I think she'd like to address the board for a couple minutes. So we'll let her get home soon.
So Meg, it's easy to get you on tape and have everybody hear you if you step up, if you don't mind, please.
Yes, I'm extremely thrilled that we have 3 candidates to join our commission, and we'll now have 7 members on the commission, including the present members and including Tom. So it's 3 extra beyond that. And we had at our last tree commission meeting, 2 of our members were not able to make it, and Rick wasn't able to make it, so it just was an emphasis, again, of the need for these extra members. It's summer, and I know people are away and things like that, but anyway, 2 of the candidates, I had invited all the candidates so that they could come to the meeting, see how the, the meetings progressed, ask any questions they might have, and also introduce themselves to the other tree commission members, and also, you know, speak about their concerns concerning trees, their ideas, et cetera. And Andrew Hunter was one that was able to come, and the other candidate that was able to come was Joyce Messenger. Pat Evans was not available to come, although he had written a fairly lengthy letter to us about his interest. And I found the two of them that were present to be incredibly enthusiastic about trees and our inventory and helping to improve it and helping to educate the public about trees. And they also had some good ideas right off the bat about what we might try to do. And not only did they have ideas, but they stepped up and said, and we'll do it, or we'll help to do it. So I was, needless to say, quite thrilled. And both Andrew and Joyce are very interested in education and outreach. Andrew is quite talented on the computer, which some of us on the Tree Commission are not. And he wanted to do some work with that and helping maybe work with the schools to help educate them more about our tree population and maybe get the science curriculum involved with it, as well as just the environmental after-school program. And Joyce has been on our pruning corps, our new pruning corps, and she's been at all of our probably the last 5 years anyway, at our plantings. And she had some good ideas about, as well as passing out what we do to our where we plant new trees, how to mulch them and how to take care of them the first year. She said, why don't we give them a leaflet about their tree, all about it, so that they can take care of it and share it with other people that ask about it. And she also said, why don't we label the trees beyond the label that comes with the tree from the nursery? Why don't we label the tree and put the date on the tree when it's planted, so anybody passing through can look at it as if they were in an arboretum and maybe learn a little more about trees. So those were the kind of ideas that came up from these two, which I was thrilled about. In talking to Pat and in his letter, he's extremely interested in trying to make order and use of our inventory and the management plan, work through that, and also help strategize as to how we might get more funding through grants or whatever for maintaining our tree forest. So needless to say, those are all things we really need. And so I recommend, and everybody on the Tree Commission recommends, that the three of them get approved for their appointments so that they can get started right away. That's all.
So based upon that meeting, I'd like to make a motion that the village board accepts the appointment of Andrew Hunter, Joyce Messenger, and Pat Evans for 3-year terms on the Rhinebeck Village Tree Commission.
Second. Discussion?
Sounds great.
Thank you.
They've all been participating really well, so I mean, Andrew's involved in other things, and both Pat and Kathleen, who's here with us tonight, as well as Joyce, they've been great.
One other thing that, and this further discussion down the road, but one other thing that Andrew is very concerned about, which is much further afield from the village, but is forest fires. And he just was hoping that we might somehow work with the fire department, not only here but regionally, to just make sure that their equipment is up to snuff for dealing with fires that might begin in fields or whatever and spread into the, because I don't think we have that kind of equipment.
We do.
We do?
We do.
4x4 stuff?
We do.
Perfect, great, okay.
And not only do we have a mutual agreement with other local fire departments who specifically bought equipment to come to mutual aid to offset what we don't have to fight those kind of fires.
Okay, great.
Yeah, no,
It's all around us, so.
yeah, it's kind of,
It's only a matter of time.
it's all there.
And we actually have a couple of guys who are on the volunteer fire department who have spent significant amount of time out in the West Coast battling forest fires.
We'll be thrilled with it. I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
But that might be something that would be nice to have on the website, just for, for reference, for the public to rest assured that there is a plan. So that could be something we add to
Yeah.
emergency response on the website.
And we also have a member of our police force, Ken is here tonight, but Steve Hannenberg, who works for the federal government and flies all over and goes to responses. And I believe some of those are related to forest fires, am I not right, Ken?
Yes, in the past.
Yeah, so we have expertise that I'm really proud of here in the village.
And I know, Vanessa, you put out an appeal for more members, and I would not take that down.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I mean, I think there are a couple members on our board, I don't know, older members that may not stay, and I just would like to have a pool.
Yeah, yeah. We could talk about having sort of a regular post on social media or inclusion in our newsletter. So we could brainstorm a way to kind of showcase the
I mean,
work.
even for more,
Yeah.
for people, particularly if you're looking to extend our responsibilities.
We have an opportunities page on the website. That'd be great to use, that Martina and I have been talking about, how do we keep that current, refresh it as well, because that's a place to go where we're going to be posting jobs, opportunities to work, come and help with the village, all of that exists on that opportunities page that we already have.
Thank you for
Okay,
bringing this
we need a
forward
vote.
to the agenda, too.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, so can we take a vote? All in favor of
The appointment of the three?
Joyce,
Andrew?
Andrew, and Pat? Please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
So carried. While we have you on the floor, do you want to just go about the tree removal applications? And that way,
Yep.
we're done with trees?
Okay.
Never
The trees are never done with trees.
We're done with trees for tonight.
We're done with trees tonight. Okay. The Tree Commission received 2 applications for pruning and one for pruning, one for removal. First at 47 Violet Place, the pruning of 3 cherry trees, which the commission approved. And the second was the removal of what turned out to be 3 large old Norway maples in front of 45 Livingston Street. Those are some old trees. I walk by them all the time. They're pretty big, but they're in really bad shape. So the village, the tree commission did, after some back and forth, agree to the removal of those 3 Norway maples directly in front, and potentially another tree that is a London plane, which has a split trunk, for lack of a better term. Although that, they're going to see if that can be repaired.
Like motion?
Motion. So they can make a motion to accept the tree commission's recommendations for pruning at 47 Violet and the removals at 45 Livingston Street.
I have a second.
Second.
Discussion. I do have a comment. I went to look at the trees at 45 Livingston Street,
And they're gone.
and they were gone. Yeah, and I knew that they were on the agenda, and I was kind of shocked that they took them down before we voted to approve.
Well, I am too, and I don't know, I mean, hopefully it's clear, it always has been, that they need to wait, but, so I talked to him, but I didn't say, I said you had to write in another application. I didn't say that he could just go ahead and do it without.
So, I mean, this is like, once it's down, it's down. But, and the recommendation was to take them down, but I really would encourage residents who apply for the permit, wait till we give the approval, since it is a street tree, before they take it upon themselves to remove those
I
trees.
think that we need to emphasize that more when we send out,
The original
when
application.
we send out the application, and,
Well, I think the tree commission should write a letter to either the homeowner or whatever, expressing that concern, that they were down.
I mean, I'm happy to contact him and tell him that, we did approve it, but it is only, I told him that it's only our recommendation, that you had to pass it before you had.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to look at them. I mean, I knew what they were there, but I didn't.
Yeah.
The other piece of good news is that the homeowner is planning on replanting with 2 trees
Right.
on the lawn, which will be out of the way of the wires and should eventually grow to be rather large. So
Okay.
there are replacements
All right.
scheduled for that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
So the other
Because we
thing
can't
that came
oppose.
up concerning this whole application process was that Martina got a note from Turquoise about pruning his trees in the commercial district in front of Pickles. One of his buildings, and that did not go through the application process. He was just saying, I'm writing you a note to give you a heads up that we're gonna prune because we have to put scaffolding up to repair the front of our building.
Has he pruned yet?
It was supposed to have occurred today, he told, because Connie got in touch with him to say that, normally this goes to an application
Yeah.
process. It already happened, because I didn't see anything, and he said it was right away, and he said, no, it should have happened today.
So Martina, will you make sure you reach out to Joe and tell him we need an application? Thank you. Okay. Okay. That it? Trees?
That's it, I'm just looking at the code. No, we're all set.
Okay, thank you. All right, as everybody's aware, the next thing is the ADA striping, and we put an RFP to do the ADA striping in the municipal lot, and bids were due August 2nd. We did not get any bids.
None?
None, zero. We personally reached out to companies that we knew. We had Ty and Bond reach out to companies that they knew, and either job was too small, one company said paint is in short supply, another company said they no longer do it, and another company said, I forget.
Right.
They didn't respond.
Wow.
Right, didn't respond. So I would like to ask for an extension and republish the RFP for the ADA striping to try to still get a contractor to bid on that. Hopefully timing will work on our side. If we can go out for another 30, I'd like to make a motion that we resubmit the striping RFP for the ADA striping for the municipal lot for another 30 days from today.
Second.
Any discussion?
You could just go like 60 days, just see if
You
we
want to go
can.
60?
Yeah.
You want to amend it?
Well, what about the weather?
Well,
Well,
the
we're good
plants,
then. We're still good.
that could be in our favor, because if it gets a little chillier and the plants are still open, then they might want to do an October job or something.
It'd be today's August 10th, September 10th, October 10th. It's not until we get to freezing temperatures that we can't paint.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's a good idea.
Okay.
I'm just concerned that we're running out of time into the winter.
How about 45?
Yeah, 45 days.
Okay.
Split the baby.
No, I mean, that's,
So I'm going to amend
Sorry.
the proposal that we resubmit for the ADA striping municipal lot to extend it for 45 days from today and republicize the RFP.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. All right, legal retainer for agreement for a zoning attorney. At our last meeting, we appointed Gordon and Svensson to the zoning board and appeals.
Thank you for doing that
Yes,
while I wasn't here.
in your absence.
we forgot.
We covered it. But now we have the contract.
Really appreciate it.
And I'd like to make a motion to accept the contract from Gordon and Svensson to our legal aid for the planning and zoning boards.
Second.
Discussion.
I've already met with them, so I hope we get this done soon.
I mean, all of you have seen the retainer agreement? Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
You all saw
Yeah,
everybody's
it's fine.
proposals?
Yeah,
Great.
looks good.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Cool.
Okay. Next, Village Flex Hall Tech Resolution. I'm going to turn the floor back to Vanessa.
Do you want me to read the?
I can. Or do you want?
Oh, read it, okay. So, this is something that we had discussed a ways back with Village Hall in need of potential improvements to air circulation, to HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems. Of particular concern now because of COVID, but in general, it's a pretty old building with some creaky old systems, including vents for people smoking cigarettes or something. So anyways, we looked into a program, so by we, I mean Brandy from Ty and Bond, Brandy Nelson, and I looked into a program called FlexTech. It's through the New York State NYSERDA program, where they will cost share with municipalities who are undertaking studies of municipal buildings for greater efficiency and airflow. So Brandy referred us to a company called ME Engineering that does this type of work. They've worked with FlexTech many times, so they know the whole process, how you apply and do the very specific FlexTech program. So this resolution, which I will read, basically, we'll be voting to do this study. And we're not beholden to actually do any capital improvements to Village Hall unless we choose to at a later date. But this study would lay out what improvements are recommended. Okay, resolution concerning a Village Hall study and FlexTech support. Whereas Village Hall is a workplace and public gathering place, thank you for being here tonight, encountered significant challenges with air quality, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems during COVID-19. And whereas improving ventilation is an important COVID-19 prevention strategy that can reduce the number of virus particles in the air. And whereas updating the aging energy, insulation, and HVAC systems of Village Hall could provide significant savings on energy costs. And whereas Village Hall, with improvements, could serve as a community cooling center during heat emergencies and a community warming center during power outages. So again, like making improvements to this building could be used for multiple purposes, emergency purposes down the road. And whereas preparedness for emergencies is of crucial importance with increasing risk of pandemics and climate change events, and whereas New York State's NYSERDA program offers 50-50 matching for municipalities this program's called FlexTech, encompassing energy efficiency and air quality HVAC assessment studies. And now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Rhinebeck approves the proposal from ME Engineering from July 8th to undertake a $10,000 assessment study of Village Hall and to facilitate the 50-50 match through FlexTech. And therefore, be it also resolved that the Village of Rhinebeck approves the use of $5,000 of our budgeted funds for Village Hall improvements to pay for our $5,000 share. That's it. So I'd like to make a motion that we accept this resolution, pass the resolution.
Second.
Thank you, Lydia.
Any
Okay,
questions?
discussion?
This goes way beyond like ventilation and things like that, so I think that we'll probably find some money sitting on the table with like retrofits that'll make things more energy efficient and things like that.
You're saying if whatever the plan yields, their study yields, what will it get into?
We spoke originally about ventilation and
Yeah, this will be a more comprehensive review, so it will lay out a lot of different recommendations, probably. I think they look at things like insulation, the windows, as well as the air circulation systems.
Our
you know,
heating system.
How old the boiler is.
How many have been down to the boiler room?
Not me, man.
And then,
Don't go. Don't go, you might not come back.
Abandon all hope, right?
and then from there, you have a plan, you know?
yeah,
what's
from there we have a plan.
Right, so where are we gonna get the most bang for the buck? Yeah,
And we
Are
do,
also looking for ways to spend our COVID money?
yes, but
So if we had a plan, we could use it.
that's right.
it is possible, and it does fit under the guidelines of the American Rescue Plan going forward if we have a plan.
Right.
But that will yet to be decided, because we don't have a plan.
So the timing is, right, to your point, Meg, this study, if it's completed in the fall, then we will know, okay, well, here's what we could spend some money on if we choose to use those funds in that way. So it's giving us some options, it's setting us up for some planning, yeah.
That's a dovetail.
And I'd just like to note that we do have a Village Hall Capital Fund that has $10,000 in it that is for this purpose. And that $5,000 would come out of that capital fund. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Great job.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Next, letter for State Liquor License Authority for Arroy. This again is part of a standard application sent to the village clerk for us to approve State Liquor License Authority for businesses within the village. And so this is for an application for a class change from a tavern wine license to a premise license for the subject premise, which is alternate incorporated Arroy Thai, 55 East Market Street, Rhinebeck, New York. I'd like to make a motion to approve their application for a class change. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Lydia. All in favor, any discussion?
Does this change the intensity of the use?
I'm sorry, what?
The intensity of the use of the building, or? I don't think so.
No.
No.
Just serving wine, actually.
Yeah, I think they have like
Yeah.
beer and wine right now.
Right, to
and-
go
yeah.
up, right. Got it.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Next. The last meeting also, we had a carryover about the employee assistance program. I'd like to turn it back to our village clerk, Martina, give us an update.
So the two programs that we found haven't changed.
Thanks.
It's still Total Care, EAP, and the Workplace. The biggest difference is Total Care is $2,500 annually, and the Workplace is $800 annually. With the help of our police clerk, Danielle, who did a lot of the legwork on this, we reached out to different municipalities. The closest 5 don't have employee assistance programs. The only one who does is the town, and they use the Workplace.
And the costs were,
$2,500 for Total Care and $800 for the Workplace.
yes. And I think
What,
Rick brought up a question at the last meeting that prompted us to probe this, and your concern was the difference in the quality of care, was right?
But yes, but we don't seem to have any comparison.
Right.
Well, I guess
We couldn't get much feedback because no other municipality.
it's out there. Gotcha. No, I understand. You tried. You looked.
I just want to make sure that that's why we're carrying this
Correct.
over based on,
Could I ask just for a little background on what prompted the idea of bringing it?
Actually, well, our police clerk
Yes.
and employee asked if we had any type of services provided for employees who are in need of assistance.
what kind of assistance?
our officer in charge, Sergeant Dunn, asked for
So
this
it's
as
a
well.
wide variety of different things that they offer, but essentially getting people in touch with different counselors or
Oh, okay.
programs for different things that
It's almost like
going through.
an HR support, right? That's what
Yeah,
it
it
seems
is,
like.
yeah.
Like this is a set of professionals that you can refer people to.
Yes.
On a whole host of different
Yes.
issues. Just a support system for people who need to get some help.
So like mental health as well as.
Financial counseling.
Financial okay, got it. Great. okay.
Management, trainee help and stuff like that. And I like the fact that they're, at least have a presence in the area, Westchester Medical Center, aren't they, in Poughkeepsie?
Yeah.
And the other one seemed to have all sorts of videos and one, a lot of videos, a lot of online things that they would refer you to, and
Well, it's a one-year contract.
it's hard to tell what it really is.
We'll get some feedback, yeah.
We do already have a working relationship with the Workplace. That's currently where we send our guys for drug testing.
So I'd like to make a motion to accept the employee assistance program from the
The Workplace.
workplace, excuse me, for $800 a year, right?
Yes.
And I guess the contract needs to be amended.
Right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Rick. Any other discussion?
If there's a way to track annually maybe, how often it's being utilized? Or, how often we're referring people to it, and then how often it's being utilized, even if it's anonymous, just so we can keep a
I
measure?
would definitely keep track of that.
Yeah.
If anybody does plan to use that, I would just have a running list of it. For reference's sake, though, there was no one that we could really talk to other than the town, who I don't believe has utilized it.
Okay, No, I just meant for us, if we adopt it, if
Oh,
we vote yes.
That would be me.
Let's, yeah, let's track if people are actually using it and
Right.
reassess,
Right.
you know?
But I think you want to be confidential about it. You don't
Yeah.
want,
Yes.
you'd have to figure out a way just to say
Yes.
Yeah.
somebody had, an access was made. You don't want any
And this would
details.
be available to all of our employees, not just police and not just union?
No, all of our,
All employees,
Great.
yes.
For $800 a year?
yeah.
Wow.
Seems like it could be helpful.
That seems like that's worth the year experiment.
If there's just one positive encounter, you know, with, or
Yeah.
help with one of our employees, it's worth
Totally.
it.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. Thank you. All right, next thing is a proposal to close Village Hall for September 20th to 24th. I mean, this is twofold. One is for us to get, again, kind of do a cleanup and organization within Village Hall, but also I would like to offer to get permission to have both Karen, our treasurer, and Martina go to training in NICOM training classes during that time period, which is extremely valuable. Karen has gone several times and can attest to the value that they bring. Martina, coming on board as village clerk, can get involved in the structure and organization around what it is to be a clerk and get involved in, there's a certified program that she can become involved in by attending these seminars. And this is in Saratoga? Saratoga. So it's not too far. So I'd like to make a proposal that we close Village Hall September 2024 for those purposes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
I just want to say I'm really excited for Martina to come to the fall training school, and I'd like to see her get involved with the New York State City and Village Clerks Association and meet Bruce Cadman from General Code for the Laserfish, and there is a lot of positive opportunity for her. I'm excited.
I also like to say that these train, NICOM is available for us. We have a budget for us to attend and go to training classes that are up there. Okay?
Just for my own peace of mind with the planning board, this doesn't mean that like the planning board
No.
meeting doesn't happen.
No, so
Okay.
what we're
Thank you.
actually proposing is the village hall downstairs essentially to be closed for that week, whereas building, planning and zoning and the court office will still be
Still
open.
open.
Okay, great.
Yes. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried, thank you. Special request, first one. Wonderland of Lights, Dutchess County Agricultural Society. All right, Wonderland of Lights, it's a drive-through Christmas light show. Organization is called North Pole Production, being held at the Dutchess County Fairgrounds. It's going to start on November 25th and continue through December 26th on weekends. They estimated attendance overall of 5,000 people over that 4-week period. Hours of operation are Saturdays from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
And they're just driving through the fairgrounds?
It's a
Have you
drive-through.
ever been to one of these? They set up holiday lights, and then you kind of caravan your way through.
I've been to like a walking one in
Yeah,
the Chicago
yeah.
Zoo
No.
before.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
lovely.
This is not out of your car. This is a drive-through, roughly a mile and a half,
Wow.
circumventing through the Dutchess County Fairgrounds. And lights that we put up.
Yeah, the ones I've seen they're really busy.
Can I make a motion and then we'll go into discussion? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the application from the Dutchess County Agricultural Society for the drive-through Christmas light show. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Rick. All right, discussion. Thank
Yeah,
you.
they're busy. I actually looked up one of the YouTube videos on this organization, and the one up in Albany for the police, I don't know if it was sheriff but these things they're a big draw, and they're coming off of, I'm not even sure, there's sort of precious little information here. I don't know where they're coming, where the entrance is going to be and where the exit's going to be.
The entrance,
But-
yeah, the entrance is at the north end.
Yeah, that's better.
And yes, and the exit is at the old entrance to come
The
out.
Mulberry Street
go back
entrance?
out. No, the,
The one with the cow
Not
sign,
across from.
the golden cow sign, right?
Cow sign.
You don't know where the cow is?
That's more across from the Ever-Ready Diner,
Across from the old diner, across from the old diner. It's the old-
Thank
the
you,
old-
thank you very
the old
much.
the old Ever-Ready.
There is one, I'm sorry.
Oh.
You go
Well,
ahead.
that's better. That's where I would want it.
Yeah.
Because, oh my, these things can really draw a lot of people.
One of the things is Cinder Claus is just one of the same weekends, and I've talked to the fairgrounds about that because if we're having Cinder Claus and that, and there will not be any traffic that will be sent south on Route 9 on that Saturday of the Cinder Claus event.
Right.
All right, so all traffic will be headed north to avoid confusion here. Now, that ends at 6 PM. Obviously, the Cinder Claus event starts at 6 PM, so, but all traffic will be heading north and not come back
It's
into
at
the
9.
village.
So again, Gary, this also says Saturday somewhere, but then the calendar shows all sorts of dates.
It's just different times, right? I thought it was the same date. 6 PM to 9 PM and 6 PM, I don't,
25.
I thought, fine, Saturdays, okay, we could do it just for that, but then,
It's 19th to the 23rd.
25, 26, 27, 28.
yeah, there's a lot of
2,
days.
3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh, no, that, yeah. Peak attendance would be all Saturdays, but it's gonna be almost every night.
it's only on weekends.
That's, I don't
It's
think,
Thursday.
that's what I thought
Thursday
originally.
night, Friday night, Saturday night,
2,
Sunday
3,
night.
4, 5, 9,
Yeah, they've sort of
10,
like
11,
caged it a
12.
little
I'm sorry, you're right. Peak attendance is on
16,
Saturday.
17, 18, 19,
21 days.
23, 26. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
bit. So the Friday and
13,
Saturdays,
14, 15,
it's
16,
it's open
17,
until 10, and the
18,
Thursday
20,
and
21.
Sunday, it closes at 9.
It's a lot of days.
Is there,
Is this a revenue opportunity for the fairgrounds?
It is. From what I looked at the website from the applicant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what their revenue is associated with it and how much they pay for having this done.
is there music?
Because, I mean, well, to be perfectly blunt, I don't want to take a revenue opportunity away from the fairgrounds, given the year they've just had.
I understand, yeah.
But at the same time, it's Thursday through Sundays from Thanksgiving until Christmas.
Yeah, and Andy did say he would be utilizing the Dutchess County Sheriff to manage traffic.
Okay.
They're just gonna be there every one of those nights?
Every Thursday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So that's how many weekends?
I will tell you that it's already, the organization is already announcing it is already selling tickets. It's kind of like the.
That's a little like the tree commission,
It's kind
yeah.
of like the tree is already
The
down.
tree's already been cut.
The day after they signed the contract, I spoke to the fairgrounds because I saw the advertisement the day after, and I called the fairgrounds and they said, yeah, we signed the contract yesterday, and unbeknownst to them, the organization publicized it right away.
It doesn't say anything about music. Is it just lights?
Probably not.
Probably
I
not.
The ones
don't
I've seen have
Probably
music.
playing Christmas music as you drive through.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if it's all on the far side of the, which
It's
I'm
on the
thinking-
road, it's not in the
don't know where it
grass.
is.
Right, no, but it's got to be it's got to be looping through the parking lots, I would assume.
Yeah.
And there's no residential back there.
Well,
There's a big
no,
buffer.
but there is that big gravel road right near the bandstand.
No, I don't think
The
they're going
old
there.
track.
Yeah, the old track.
Yeah, they could use that. They probably won't, but
I
what
would
if they
think they'd be
choose
on
to
that
use
far
that?
side.
Can we, I mean, cat's already kind of out of the bag. Can we ask them to abide by some noise provisions and keep it on the far north end? And can we put some constraints?
They already have it mapped out on the website, so you can go to the website and see the
We
map.
should,
All right.
I wonder if we could,
How about,
my
we should
gosh.
institute fines for late applications.
You know, and this was held up because of our meeting. You know,
I'm going to see if I can look at the,
As we're all Googling this. sort
the
of
horse is
like-
out of the barn.
early. Fairgrounds.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Downtown now.
Introductory video.
They don't have that.
Sorry, everybody watching on TV.
Yeah. This has been on the agenda, I'm sorry. They had a chance to look.
Where did you find the map, Lydia?
I haven't found the map yet.
Oh,
There was a pictorial, that was all, it was there.
do you want to see if that's it?
All right.
All right.
You guys can mull this over, but we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? How long you want to go through this?
I know.
So can we just ask for more information and then do an email vote?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that, because we've done that with events.
Okay. I will ask them for a map. How's that?
A map is good.
Map, and then if there's going to be blaring music.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Thank you.
And then we'll do an email vote. Okay, done. Next on the agenda is Madagascar Art Day. This is a middle school, high school event, which we have done previously. I'm sorry, we have a lot of events coming up. I can't find that one. Let me go to
It's
it here.
got
No,
purple handwriting.
Yeah.
it's online. All right, it did, I have it here. This is from Henry Fosnot, 20 Pine Drive, Poughkeepsie, Madagascar Art Day. Its students are going to create wooded painted information with QR codes to display in the town, which means to the village, and they will be waterproof, and this is part of a larger BMS project. Organization is the Buckley Middle School. Event dates are October 22nd to October 29th.
I believe,
From Market Street between the light and the municipal parking lot.
so I believe Henry is involved with Culture Connect, and he's a teacher at middle school or high school. So that's what do you know anything more about?
Only that the Buckley Middle School has done this before, and we've always approved it and said, please, let's showcase their artwork.
Yeah.
That's my main
I
guy.
think it said 8 hours or something. 8 hours for displaying it.
Well,
It's not going to be like,
It's over the course of a few days.
It's over the course of the 22nd to the 29th
Oh.
that they're posted.
oh, okay.
Right.
I don't know what
But I don't
lovely.
think it doesn't
I don't have it.
generate a big crowd or anything.
Right.
So
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the Madagascar event on October 22nd, 29th. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Very good. All right, Light the Village Pink.
Bless you.
This is sponsored by Northern Dutchess Hospital, and is to light the village pink. It's breast cancer awareness event promoting breast cancer program at Northern Dutchess Hospital by lighting the center of village and resident homes with pink lights. And again, the organization is Nuvance, which is Northern Dutchess Hospital. Jamie DeSoto is the organization from the hospital, and it will be done similar to what we're seeing now with opioid awareness and getting residences to put up lights from October 1st to October 31st.
Residents and businesses.
Businesses,
Yeah.
yes. I'd like to make a motion to accept Nuvance Health event application to light the village pink. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brent. All right, discussion?
Are they aware that's like Halloween timeframe?
More lights.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October.
Yeah. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Very good. Last one, Halloween parade.
Speaking of Halloween.
Speaking of Halloween, yes. This is by the American Legion, Unit 429, Allison Traver. Children's Halloween Parade is the 35th annual Children's Halloween Parade and Costume Competition. They would step off at Village Hall and ends at the Rhinebeck American Legion. So they basically go down Market Street, down Route 9. We close, they have to get a permit, DOT permit to close Route 9 to get down there. And they anticipate 100 kids plus parents and families. It's been well attended in the past. Not the same.
They'll handle the DOT permit?
Yes.
And they will need police assistance to close Streetway to Main Light to Center Village and then down Route 9.
Which Pete has approved.
But,
Pete has approved.
yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve the American Legion Auxiliary Unit 429 for their 35th Annual Children's Halloween Parade and Costume Competition. Do I have a second? Thank you, Rick. All in favor, any discussion? Discussion?
Can we condition?
No, you
on-
can't be in it. No, I'm sorry.
I know. I just remember when my daughter was so little in that, and it seems like yesterday. It's just
Our
crazy.
kids were in
Now
it
she's
too. Yep.
16. But can we condition it on them getting the DOT approval?
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So Martina, you'll take care of that, please? Thank you. All in favor, say aye on condition of getting DOT approval.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Very good. That ends our events. Welcome to the end of COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, so
not really.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes for July 13th board meeting and July 27th, 21 for our special board meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vanessa. Any discussion?
I fixed it.
You got mine. Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm going to abstain.
You have to, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And next, treasurer's report.
Okay, the treasurer's report is for the period ending July 31st. The tax collector account ended the month with $1,680,688.45. The general fund ended the month with $251,786.85. The water fund ended the month with $254,622.77. And the sewer fund ended the month with $558,037.25. Vouchers presented for payment in the general fund total $131,092.17. In the water fund, $63,912.02. And in the sewer fund, $21,473.03. These are a little high this time because we have two quarters of our general liability insurance payments in there. An operating statement is provided for the revenue and expenditures through August 10th, 2021. NYSERDA, we received a check for $5,000 for energy efficiency, and this will be used by the water department for a new, more energy efficient pump. And I'd like to thank
Dawn.
Vanessa for
Yeah.
this.
Well done, Vanessa.
The water and wastewater billing and adjustments, as signed off by trustee Nuneker, are presented for authorization.
I'd like to make a motion that the adjustments for water and wastewater are accepted as presented.
Second. Thank you, Rick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, a water utility truck. We received 3 quotes for a 5-year municipal lease. And the lowest we received was from Real Lease with a rate of 3.2%, and that will be the $42,625 5-year municipal lease. And then we already have the truck. We're just going to finance it as per my discussion with Grant and pay the water fund back for that. The fiscal year end 2021 closing is progressing. And budget amendments, I do have a few budget amendments. I have three budget amendments from the building's EV station for 500, from the parking lot EV station for 1,000, and from the trees inventory for 1,000. For the EV charging stations, those were for hardware upgrades. We did budget a little bit this year for the EV charging stations, but not enough for what we just had to do. The annual software maintenance for the trees inventory was 2,500, and we budgeted 1,500. So I'd like to take those three increases and decrease contingency by 2,500. Also, in the police department, Danielle received a police grant of $683,000, or $683. They're all almost zeros. To allocate to police grant salary line items for police salaries. So that would go to the 312001. And one that I didn't have written that I just want to add is the budget amendment to increase the revenue line item and the expense 8130.12, which is in the water fund, to allocate that 5,000 for the purchase of the pump. So,
Do you want to make a motion for the car, for the truck? To accept the lease?
I think we did that already.
Well,
I'm sorry.
do we have to make a motion to accept the lease payments, and on which one?
Or did we do
I'd
that?
like you to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would like to make a motion that we accept the lease payments as she presented.
For the lowest lease offering, right?
Correct,
For the what?
for the lowest interest rate.
Yeah, for the lowest interest rate
Lowest.
offer.
Do we have a second? Second. Thank you, Rick. Discussion.
I don't mean to raise something if you already talked about it in July, but if we have the money, why are we leasing it?
Because it was available right then, and the queue time or the lead time on these things are,
No, I know, but don't we
Taking
have,
forever.
don't we have the money in the account? Can we just buy the truck?
we did.
Right, so
We're just
why?
freeing up the capital because the rates are so low.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, we're reimbursing ourselves.
okay, all right.
I mean,
It's more of
Are,
a
right,
management decision that Grant wanted to, we had already put in a budget for the principal and interest for it.
yeah.
yeah, it was actually budgeted that way, so.
I know, I just sort of, like, why pay interest if we don't have to, but,
Yeah.
okay,
Protecting our capital.
I get that.
And we're going to have a lot of capital
Yeah.
at the water department.
So all in favor of accepting the lease for the water department truck as presented? Say aye. Aye. Opposed? So carried. I'd like to make a motion to accept the budget amendments as proposed by the treasurer.
Second.
Okay, discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. Karen, anything else?
That's all I have.
Thank you, Karen. Okay. I'd also like to, at this time, I think we're through the biggest part of the meeting. I don't know if there's a need for our wonderful police department to still hang out here. Unless he wants to hang out, I would like to give him an opportunity to leave if everybody agrees.
Yeah.
Aye.
Thank you.
Your call, sir.
Thank you, Officer Scattergood.
Thank you. Good evening.
It's too bad you didn't get that 600 grand. It was only like 600.
Next time.
Next time, we'll see what we can do.
All right, so leading into that, the next on the agenda is the police report. This is for July. Total number of incidents in the town, 36. Total number of incidents in the village, 124. Total number of tickets in the town were 5. Total number of tickets in the village, 41. Arrests, 0. Total number of accidents were 6. We always like to talk about where we've done some special coverage, and the police have helped us out on police traffic service details, which was funded by the grant for the speeding and distracted driving enforcement, which we did during the month of July. And the police did the traffic control for Empire State bike ride services, which was excess of 200 bikers doing the Empire State Trail who's camped over at the Dutchess County Fairgrounds on their way between Long Island and Buffalo. Very collected group of people. It was nice to meet with them. And we did police coverage for the village board meeting, which you saw tonight. We've also set up the speed trailer based on requests from residents on Livingston Street eastbound on July 9th, and we totaled 1,600 calls cars. The average speed was 18 mile per hour. The highest speed was 38 miles per hour. So we do have speeders. We're trying to focus on that within the village.
Wait, it was 38 miles an hour?
38 miles per hour, yes.
Wow.
Yes. So there was some speeders, and so this gives us an idea of where we can focus our attention. And it was nice for the Livingston Street to bring that to our attention. And also, we did it the opposite way on Livingston Street. That one, first it was east, and then we did it west, and we did 1,500 cars. And at that time, we recorded, the average speed was still 18, but we recorded a car at 50 mile per hour.
Oh.
Yeah, on our street. So our police are working very diligently. And I would just like to talk to everybody. You got to slow down. It's just outrageous here in the village that from stop sign to stop sign, you got to see how fast you can go. It's just not required, right? By city law, our streets are mandated at 30 mile per hour, except for designated streets that are 25 mile per hour in school zones. I'm just encouraging everybody. It's summertime. We have people. We have kids. Please, 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 observe the speed limit, and we will ticket you. How's that? All right, building, planning, and zoning.
The building planning and zoning brought in $4,700, $4,765 this past month. And we continue to chug along. The BPC clerk is going to be on vacation the last 2 weeks of August. We are working on coverage for that now. And then adjacent to building, planning, and zoning, Trustee Nuneker and I have been working on 5G regulations, a new 5G law. We convened a working group on it. We have a working draft. And now that we have agreed to pay our new planning and zoning attorneys, we're going to turn that over to them, see what they have to say. We're also going to have our village engineers take a look at it. So 5G wireless is going to be on the docket this fall.
Perfect. Thank you. Highway Department.
Okay. Highway Department, the brush pickup at the beginning of the month was delayed because we had repairs needed for our two-wheel drive backhoe, but they've gotten caught up now. Our big belly trash pickup cycle now includes a weekend pickup, so it's Friday, either Saturday night or Sunday morning, and Monday again, so hopefully those will remain clear. The department has been doing weeding at the flower beds and along here at Village Hall, painting curbs, helping with the flood control at Crystal Lake. We've had a number of large rain events, installing signs, working on getting the mini park looking good for the autism awareness sign dedication. They did also repair our catch basin in Kramer Park, and that was prior to the repaving of that loop down there, which has happened actually here in the beginning of July. It was basically 2 days. We had a contractor come in, did a really lovely job. Beginning of August. Had a contractor did a very nice job. Also, the department, Scott Min, attended a meeting about potentially doing some composting that Vanessa has been working on, and also we've been having some walkthrough of the parks with the mayor, with Meg Crawford from the Tree Commission, myself, so we can talk about generally how to organize the work that needs to be done, how to prioritize the work that needs to be done, and what the highway department can do effectively and what may or may not should be contracted out. That's a discussion for this winter.
I had a question. Are we, with regard to the weekend pickup with the big bellies, is that part of their regular work week?
No, we've been doing that all summer. It's a carryover from last year because of the amount of, last year started with the curbside pickup and outdoor dining and all that kind of stuff. Our big bellies were getting full on the weekends.
On the weekends,
So
they're not making it through the weekend.
they're not making it through the weekend, so this was just a continuation of the same program we did last summer. We started in June this year, and they come in, they get 2 hours of pay to come in on a Sunday morning to do the cleanup of all the big bellies and go home.
How did we avoid that 4-hour time and a half provision?
Scheduled. This is scheduled work time. It's not a call-in.
That's really what I meant, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was
It's
getting at.
not a
yeah,
call-in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
We
cool.
scheduled it.
good,
Yep.
all right,
And they rotate it through the highway department. Every week it's a different person.
okay,
Yeah,
nice.
so not everybody has, not the same person coming in on Sundays,
Mm-hmm.
Sunday morning. It's usually like 7, Monday morning, they always do it Monday morning at 7 a.m., right? You'll see them out here emptying Big Bellies. Fridays, 7 a.m., and Sunday morning, same thing. In addition, I spoke to Scott today, or yesterday, to, when they empty the Big Bellies, there's nobody in the parking lot, in the municipal lot. Just do a walkthrough and pick up the lane trash that's in there.
Gotcha.
Especially on weekends, we seem to accumulate stuff that doesn't make it to the Big Bellies for some reason. And that's a couple extra minutes.
I wanted to just mention Kramer Park. Is there a park over there?
No, it's just a name for the neighborhood.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
okay.
didn't even know that, yeah.
Yeah.
I had the same question, but I didn't.
Yeah, I was like.
It's Kramer Road, Ventura Park, and Orchard.
Verna.
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 And
Okay.
Orchard, yeah. If you have not had a chance to go look at our recent paving that we did, it's phenomenal. So, thank you, Rick, for organizing and making that happen, and thank you for our highway department for coordinating it. And we really should talk about an issue that came up during that event of paving was a sign-related issue. So just so everybody's aware, we do have village signs that are very much outdated and gender-related signs. And so
They
this
say
was,
men working.
this was brought to our attention that those signs were up and used. I personally went to Village Hall to see if they were ours. They are ours. And we did have a collection of men working signs that should be changed. And Martina has now ordered all new signs, and we are getting rid of all of the
The gendered signs?
gendered signage,
Correct.
right? So I'd like to thank our citizen, our village resident for bringing that to our attention, that those signs were posted out there. That was actually, they weren't banned, but they were kind of phased out. I forget, we looked it up.
It's like we use them all that.
Probably a long time ago.
In the late 70s, early 80s, these were banned, and we still have
They
them.
don't come out that often.
So anyways, I'm sorry to deviate, but I think that everybody should know that we got rid of those signs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
Anything else?
Nope.
We're good. Water Department.
Not that much.
Water, several breaks in Rhine Cliff with the water mains. You know, Rhine Cliff is a rocky place, and it's too bad. We had like a 6-inch main break and an 8-inch main break. There was a repair on Huntington for a 1-inch line.
That
There's
was
a-
not Rhine Cliff, that's here in the village.
Right, yeah. In Violet Hill Storage Tank, we did put the new ladder in there. Normal maintenance, mowing, weeding, which we're gonna work on. And they drained and cleaned the settlement tanks, and the utility truck has arrived. I spoke to Rich about doing the extraterritorial water district, and he said the town he said a district can only be created by a town. So I said, so then so how do we get started? And he said, you need to have a conversation with the town. Requires a map plan and report, you know, which I assume our engineer would prepare. And he said it probably wouldn't be that expensive, but our engineer would have to review the existing areas served and determine whether we would have one district, multiple districts, et cetera. So I'm wondering if you could like approach the town board and town supervisor and ask about starting the creation of a district, and I can talk to Ty and Bond, and let's just kind
I will.
of move the ball a little bit.
Yes, I will do that.
Okay.
That's a great name.
And
That also might tie into the mapping project,
The mapping
right?
project, yeah. Also, Brent, question, for no reason other than just curiosity, as part of our water rate conversation that we're gonna have at some point, I know that we've been thinking about, we have a minimum, like if you use less than however many gallons it is, you pay this just minimum. I was wondering if there was any way that we could think about, and I'm just dropping this and let's think about it, not talk about it, a way to encourage people, perhaps economically, to be using less water. because I never reach that threshold, and so when I use less water, I don't get rewarded for it. But I don't know how many people are like me in that category. I don't know if there's ways to sort of encourage people to use less water.
Yeah, we'd have to do some kind of incentive, which
Yeah.
I mean,
would
they do
bring in
have,
less
like,
revenue.
step billing, like,
Yeah.
like in different
think-
steps.
Right.
I mean, my reaction is that two things. There is basic infrastructure that you have to pay for. And two, and water shortage isn't really our issue.
No, but water use, I think in general, just given our attitude around the environment in this village, which I think is wonderful, I think, anything we can do to encourage less use of valuable natural resources, I think is appropriate. This may not be where we focus. I just wanted to throw it out there as an idea.
And Brandy said that she has someone to refer you to that
Yes.
kind of looks at all the economics of it. So
So,
maybe that's part of the conversation.
I can bring that up, because
Okay.
Brandy did schedule a meeting that invited Brant, myself, and Karen.
Oh, great.
I don't know.
I couldn't go because I was taking. yeah,
You were not
medical thing.
available. We had that meeting with Ty and Bond and their
Person.
person,
Yep.
right, who does this as a job. And he went through a very extensive review of how they go about setting up classifications, and even if you have different districts, to have different districts, and how those capital expenses that we have can get prorated across different districts. And he would come up with 3 different scenarios and present it to the board. And
Great.
when we got done, Karen and I thought it was well worth exploring further. So Time Bond is putting together a proposal to come back. And I think we'll have that for the next meeting, but they're working on a proposal.
Okay.
I don't know how much, I don't know length of time. All I know is that Karen and I thought it was useful.
Yeah, they did, and like I said, they'll present a few different scenarios, so you can kind of look, and they're going to take a look at like 10 years out.
Our challenge is that we have a distribution network that's about 25 miles, and I think, it's and it's aging big time, and as Heinz Sauer said, Rhinecliff is an enigma, like even where some of the old things are, and, where they're located and what age they are. So we're going to have to look at some increases in the extraterritorial district.
So that's what this guy will do.
Yeah.
He'll come up with a proposal if we want to move forward with him. So, next meeting, news for next meeting. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
Wastewater.
Wastewater, I don't have a lot. I just asked Brandy, when is Rupp Brothers going to come and do that greenhouse? Because they did drop off all the materials. They're supposed to start really soon. At the Village Green, that one pump is out again, because remember we upgraded the pump, and then we put the basket in to capture the wipes that are getting in there, and the capacitor, not the flux capacitor, but the capacitor burned out or something. So you probably know what that is. I don't even know what a capacitor is, but, so we'll keep an eye on that, and we have to start thinking about if this is an ongoing thing, about charging them for these.
Right.
These repairs,
Yeah,
so.
very good, thank you. Environmental.
Okay, great. So, I already mentioned the natural resources inventory meetings that are being scheduled. We are continuing to work on the compost feasibility plan. We've started approaching some businesses and having meetings with them to understand what their concerns or needs might be. So that's been really interesting. Restaurants primarily. For our collaboration with the Marist students, they'll be coming back to campus, knock on wood, in the fall. So we did purchase the tipping bucket that we had budgeted for. So that should be, I don't know, I haven't tracked it. It's downstairs. All right, awesome.
I've never seen a tipping bucket.
Yeah. And, I'm happy that we submitted for that Climate Smart Communities grant for the South Parsonage Street Green Infrastructure Project. Thank you for passing the Flex Tech study. I'm going to come back to the board with more information on the fleet efficiencies. Paul, thanks for sending me your questions. I'm going to have a consultation with our former intern, David Chernak, about that, because he specializes in EVs. So that should be interesting. I also just wanted to give an update that one of our volunteers for the Climate Smart Task Force had a table at the Star Library event that was called Bike-a-Palooza. And she did a lot of outreach to the public there around biking in the village. And she put together just a little quick survey. And she found that there was a lot of interest in increasing safety and bikeability in the village. She even had a map where some people marked up where their ideal kind of bike safe route might be. Obviously, it was a Star Library event, so there were a lot of families there that were concerned about safety in biking, having kids bike to school. So she's really interested in this topic, as is her young son, Sam, who really wants the village to be even more sustainable. So they're going to continue to work on this bike topic. If anybody has any ideas or wants to get involved with that particular topic, she'll be running point. And that's it.
I want to talk about this. And you haven't seen this.
Oh,
I wanted to share this with Vanessa. I went to a local establishment, and this is the bag that they used for takeout. It's called Think Green, and it's compostable. But it's not compostable in your backyard compost, but most pickup places can take it and compost with it. I'm going to pass this on to you. I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
If it's something that maybe we could promote, and to get, as a replacement for plastic bags that are being used, have this compostable bag.
Very interesting, yeah. Yeah, so in the feasibility study, they're looking into things like what would qualify if we did a municipal composting program. Would you be able to do, sometimes you can see paper plates that are compostable, or even sometimes what looks like a plastic utensil.
Yeah.
And you often need a really industrial strength of composting operation to be able to do that sort of thing. So this feasibility study, they'll be telling us what sort of systems we would have to be able to do the more heavy-duty composting. The other thing that might be really cool to tie in with the restaurants or other businesses in the village that would want to take part in a composting program, actually some of the businesses brought up to us, well, if we're going to be doing this, we would want to really be proud of it and tell the community about it. So could there be a badge that we put on our window that says we're a proud member of the composting pilot or something like that? So there's a whole piece of the project that would be around designing the communications and kind of the outreach and the visibility of the program to the public. And things like maybe we could even, I don't know, I don't want to make any promises, but maybe there's a way to design, village composting, compostable approved products. I don't know, we'll see. Thank you for this.
Okay. We're going to skip, we've done the tree committee. I want to move on to the Autism Awareness Committee, and I'd like to make a motion to appoint Emily Davison to the Autism Awareness Committee. She is the Director of Special Services at the Rhinebeck Central School District and has expressed a lot of interest in our committee and wanting to participate. So we are still working with her, and also trying to recruit additional members, as like the tree committee and others, to the Autism Awareness Committee, especially parents, to serve on this committee. And we'll let you know more about that. But I'd like to make a motion tonight to accept Emily Davison to the village-sponsored Autism Awareness Committee. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Done. Very good. That ends our formal business. I do not, does anybody have anything for executive session? No. Not?
Can I raise one more thing?
New business.
I wanted to say that I would like to put together a policy for us to not use the, I think it's glyphosate.
Oh, is that radio?
Brand name Roundup.
Brand name Roundup, to ban the use of that product on municipal properties.
I would be 100% in favor of a policy like that.
Let's draft it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any interest in me pursuing, like expanding that beyond just municipal properties and trying to make that a ban just municipal, village-wide?
Let's start there, and let's see where we can go.
Hard to do.
Can you,
I would like to add to that, today we got a complaint from the DEC about our use of a product unknown for whatever that product was, where it was used on South Barton Street by the mini bar and over by Rockefeller. So that came to my desk this morning. I passed that on to Trustee Lewitt to work with the DEC and respond to that complaint that we had.
But it's not Roundup. We know that.
I'll let you handle that, but
Okay,
we did have a
thanks.
complaint, right, which we are going to address.
You're probably aware, Vanessa, of the tree of heaven?
Yes.
Okay. My understanding is that you need something like that. Meg knows the right
Yeah.
chemical name.
Mhm.
And I think it is the Roundup or whatever you said. The right, there's a special way. You can't cut down that tree. You've got to kind of score it and then paint that into that
Yeah.
score.
Actually,
So
So-
if you cut that down, it's just going to
it
Keep
just,
coming back.
it almost likes it, it just will grow back immediately.
Yeah, it's like sumac,
The
yeah.
seeds
Yeah.
and through the root system, and if it tricks it into sending that poison down and killing it underneath, because if you cut it down, the tree is stressed, and that's why it just pops up more than
So,
mushrooms.
so to your point, and I did talk to Meg about Roundup and this particular chemical. She said Roundup should not be sprayed. That is what my policy would say. We're banning the spraying of it.
Okay.
But she did say if you very, very carefully paint on the
Yes.
active ingredient in Roundup on a tree of heaven,
You can't.
it will dry and then it doesn't contaminate or be, carcinogenic health hazard for the applicator.
Okay. I just
So,
wanted to-
yeah, so that's a really good point of clarification, spraying versus other uses.
Application.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say that Meg has given us a procedure for treating the sumacs,
Yeah.
which is an organic treatment, which our highway department I know does do.
Yeah.
Because we've done that over at, on the Landsman Kill and trying to stop the sumacs from growing back. And so she's worked with the highway department on doing that.
We need that too, just so if you can key us in on that.
Yeah, call Meg, she has it.
Okay.
Okay, a couple other comments I'd like to make just for the board. Today, we signed the MOA for the water, wastewater, and highway, and the highway met and ratified that contract. We will be bringing that forward at our next board meeting on the fourth Tuesday. And the police department is meeting on Thursday to vote on approving the police department contract. So that is all moving forward. That'll be on the next agenda. I'd also like to make some public announcements in terms of our speeds at crosswalk signs. Our crosswalk signs were put out for a reason. Our crosswalk signs were put out for safety, to protect people who are entering in the crosswalk and to have cars and traffic stop for that. But they are not meant for cars and or trucks or whatever to mow them down. All right, and so quite often we are on the hunt for our crosswalk signs. We find them, scattered, all right, either drug quarter of a mile down the road or thrown over a fence like one was yesterday, or totally hit. And so, again, I'm asking the public, we do this for a reason. We have those crosswalks up in high traffic areas to protect people as they're crossing the crosswalk. So please, please, please obey that. It is a state law that you must stop if you're approaching a crosswalk. And we will continue to keep those signs up to protect our citizens and people visiting. The second is, I think you've all noticed our opioid awareness signs and the village purple lights in the village of Rhinebeck for opioid awareness for this month. There will be a walk on August 7th, this Saturday, starting at 7 o'clock at the Rhinebeck Savings Bank, and just a short walk through the village to thank the businesses and those who are participating. And at the end of that walk, the organization has been raising money and to buy Narcan, and they're going to give us a check for our police department and fire department to buy Narcan to be carried in our vehicles. And so if you can make it, please come.
What's the date on
It's the 14th.
What?
The 14th?
7th, this Saturday.
No.
Oh, wait, 14th.
That's
excuse me.
14th, yeah.
You're right. I'm sorry, I
This
lost
10th.
date. This Saturday, 14th. And last is, I think everybody's watching the news. COVID is ramping up again. So I don't know where we're going to go, but I will tell you that I've now initiated several calls with the county and others about where we need to do and what we need to do to respond to this latest outbreak of the COVID variant. Dutchess County in 1 month has gone from a low spread rate to a high spread rate. CDC does recommend new guidelines when you're in that classification, that masks not only be wear internally when you're internal sites where you have a crowded situation, but also if you're outside in crowded situation is the CDC guidelines. But I would encourage, as I have in my newsletter, to please get vaccinated. It's one of the best things we can do to control the spread of COVID here in our area and in the village. So thank you. With that, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. I have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Lydia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So done. Thank you, and good night.
Good night.